when the filmmaker and photographer David Plummer was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, this was at the age of 39. He was determined to continue his work all around the world.
Now, his travels abroad made him realise that Parkinson's isn't always well understood or treated sympathetically.
So, in rural Kenya, people with the disease are shunned or even attacked. David wanted to find out more, took his camera and met many people.
It seems like paradise when you first get here, but having Parkinson's disease, this place could be hell sometimes.
Most people don't know about Parkinson's. They just still think it is something associated with evil spirits.
Initially, I thought maybe it's some witchcraft, because since it does not have a cure.
Walifikiria ya kwamba mimi nimeleta nguvu za mapepo.
He starts shaking. They would see that those were the manifestation of demons.
The young people come and kill you if they are sure you are doing witchcraft.
They cut him, they burn, they put on fire.
I'm fighting, not only trying to find a cure, but trying to raise awareness. People don't even know what it is.
I'm very pleased to say David Plummer joins us now, along with the producer of the documentary, Dr. Tash Fothergill-Misbah. Very good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I want people to understand, David, straight away, you have Parkinson's yourself.
Yes.
And you took a decision. You're a camera person. You've travelled to many places, filmed lots of people.
Yeah.
But you took a decision because you're on medication yourself to go and film these people. You took a decision to stop your medication.
Yes.
Can you just explain that? Because that has direct consequences for your own welfare.
I didn't want to look like a rich guy from a wealthy nation going into rural Kenya with a condition that these people had, and they were getting no medication at all. I didn't want them to look at me with envy, that why is he getting medication and I'm not? He's managing. And I wanted to connect on the most personal level with them. I was the same as them, just different nations, different opportunities, different care.
And just so people are clear, the consequence of that for you, and we'll come on to what you discovered in Kenya about how people are treated there. The consequence for you of your decision not to take medication was you were left in a very, very bad way while you were making this film.
Yes, yeah, it was an emotional roller coaster, both medically and chemically, and the things we were hearing, and actually the connecting with the individuals was so emotional, and it really affected me, and I hit a wall, which really came to the fore when I got back, and I suffered quite a bit when I got back.
What, emotionally or?
Yeah, mentally. Yeah, I was flat on my back for a couple of weeks. I felt guilty for coming back.
What, and having medicine and having
medicine, having care,
and
and having a safe haven, having my home. And these people I'd left. And that's what we wanted to do. We wanted to give them a voice because they don't have the voice.
Have they seen the film?
I'm not aware.
Not yet, no. We're going to be sharing it with them today.
Today?
Yes.
And that will be an emotional day in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, Tash, there is a lot of responsibility that needs to be taken when David is seen in the state that you are without medication, because at one point you are lying on the floor, semi-fetal position, I'd say, unable to do much at all. You lay bare your condition. And also, in stark contrast, we know that's temporary.
Yes.
But the responsibility then of these people who are speaking up in an environment which is not safe, that's the overarching feeling I got. That's a big responsibility for a producer.
Yes, we're working on different things around the world to try and improve that position, but it is something that we're working on the ground with the local county health officials
How
to
did you
do
get them
those
to talk to you? I mean, obviously, David having the condition would have been a kind of doorway in itself.
So I've got links with these people. I set up a support group in the area back in 2018. So these people are part of that support group, and they were very happy to talk to us, that they know that we're doing this work, and they were very happy to meet David as well.
David, one of the things that emerges from this, which is quite shocking, but sort of makes sense in a way, and something you don't have to deal with. You talk about stigma, don't you? Stigma of the disease.
Yeah.
But then, in that culture, just explain to people that often, because of the physical ailments that people see, that there is superstition attached to the condition. Do you want to explain that for us?
It's old belief systems, and it's almost, we could put it into a flow chart of how the local community and wider community treat these people. It's not understood what they have. Most of the population do not even know what Parkinson's disease is. And consequently, they're accused of having demons in them or being possessed by demons or the devil. Initially, the church tries to exorcise them to get rid of the demons, which, funnily enough, doesn't work. Then they're referred to the witch doctor, the local witch doctor, who tries herbal treatment, which are inserted in cuts. Funnily enough, that doesn't work. And because the symptoms which I display are so obvious and it's not understood, they are then branded as witches or being possessed. And that can ultimately lead to quite a brutal end of that person.
Well, they're persecuted.
They're persecuted brutally.
Yeah. One of the things that struck me as well is they end up being isolated almost immediately. And that must, for you, have just been such a contrast when you think about how society today, we're still being educated in this society, you know, we've come a long way from how people with Parkinson's were treated and how we view Parkinson's. But that contrast is stark, isn't it? The isolation compared, you know, just the shunning.
Yes, and that causes problems for their if they do have family around them, that causes problems for them because the community stigmatises the family, or members of the community stigmatise the family, and the family sometimes feel forced to distance themselves, and it's a very complex situation. And some of the most emotional parts were when we were hearing from families, from family members. And I remember one lady said she wished he would just die. And that was the moment that broke me.
How long have you been back since? Has it been a little while?
6 months, yeah.
And you said it had a real effect on you immediately afterwards. Have you managed to square things up a bit?
Yeah.
He disconnected completely. We didn't hear from him for a while, and we just,
So, yeah, I'm back.
In a better place now?
I am, yes. Yeah, much better. And it's good. This is... If there's one thing I needed to do, this was it.
Well, you've achieved it. I mean, the film is, in its own way, I mean, it's very shocking, but it's rather beautiful in its own way because it's illustrative of what's happening. It's very... People talk to you very openly, which is obviously no surprise. Really appreciate you both coming in this morning.
And it's not very long, so it doesn't feel like a lecture or, you know... Do you know what I mean? It's an insight, and you come away affected.
We just want to give them a voice and someone to take account internationally.
David, really good to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on the sofa. David Plummer there, filmmaker. Dr. Tash Fothergill-Misbah as well, producer. Thank you very much. The documentary is called Shaking Hands with the Devil. You'll see why when you watch it. You can catch it online.
So, 7:50.